I just like to know when you have developments like that going on, then and neighbors are suffering, who do they turn to that can really help you? We've been almost 3 years now. We've been close to 3 years. We've been fighting this fight with no results.
So, I think you turn to Tommy.
We've worked with that issue, Deputy Mayor.
You turn to me. You turn to the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. There are lots of people you turn to. Tommy is a good starting point. But let me say this. I hear you. It's not resolved in a way that is meaningful to you yet. But let me say this. And this is what I don't do when I do these community events. I don't defend us, right? There are things we do well, and there are things we don't do well. I don't know enough about this situation to comment on that. I believe you, right? There's some issues, and we're working on it, right? But here's what I will say. Here's what a fresh start really looks like in government. You said you talked to 3 people, right, over the course of time.
That's at least at least 3. I'm just naming some people.
And the mayor was one of them, and she got in office. And the person she hired,
the former mayor,
but the person she hired, you said at least got back to me, which is not perfect because we're still working on this, right? But
no, he's not.
No,
got back
we got back when we were able to do that, Mayor, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do some of the things that the group wanted to do, and we recommended outcomes that we were told that we advised the group to do. So it wasn't. Sometimes I'll just address it because I think it's best to take it head forward. I think sometimes in this, we can only provide the best information possible, which we did, and I think we hope that it empowers you to do the things that you can do. Unfortunately, in the case that you're asking for, we've given you the best answer that we could, and so in this case, there's a lot of things that we can go back to, and I see. If you want to help out, Ronan, I appreciate it.
I know that, Councilman, I wasn't involved in the first, but I do know that corporate chief staff was out several times out on the street along with the chief of our office and working with Tommy. And so I would say I think that this is one of those situations where the answer maybe not.
It's unsatisfying.
Satisfying your needs, but it was not because of the lack of effort on the mayor's office, the council member's office. We were trying to assist with the issue at best and who could in terms of the confines.
Mr. Montague,
I had 2 women. But before we leave this, there's a huge gap between quality response and response. All right?
So I hear that.
Okay? There's a huge gap between information provided in a reasonable time frame and just throwing the power out. And for the issues you're talking about, and I'd like to talk about that, there's a lot of pot story and not a lot of answers that were provided.
So I can't speak to this specific case, but
I don't want to take everybody's time. I do have another question that goes back.
I do just want to say just one quick thing, just broadly about not this specific issue, but generally. I have learned a lot moving from that side to this side. And the thing that I have learned is that sometimes government can, in some instances, the solutions or the responses, not specific to this because I just don't know enough about this situation again, although I trust my colleagues here, they're unsatisfying, right? And government can do this much and others have responsibilities to do this much and the law only allows this much. And so what my hope is and what the mayor has committed to and what we work incredibly hard to do is to, 1, be transparent, 2, provide quality responses that are both honest, transparent, and explain as best as possible what it is that we can do and what we just don't have the ability to do. And so sometimes that's going to work out and people are going to be happy and you're going to be satisfied with the response and it's going to be good. And sometimes it's going to be unsatisfying. And moving from that side to this side has been really hard because I swear to you, so many of the things I said when I was on that side was, why can't we just? And now it's not a perfectly good reason why we can't just, but there is a reason or some limit to what government can actually do. Again, I'm not speaking specific to this situation. The commitment that we make, that I can make, that the mayor makes, that Tommy makes, and those in the administration is that we will work incredibly hard to always give an accurate, good, quality response. Will it always be a response that is satisfying or that we agree with? Probably not always, but we will work incredibly hard to get it done. So I just want to offer that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and concerns.
Yeah, one more question and then, I'm sorry.
On the Great Street thing.
Yep.
All the reimbursements assigned.
Are they, I'm sorry?
Assignable.
Assignable. What does that mean?
Your response was that requires capital investment to be reimbursed. There are ways to get access to capital if the proceeds are approved and signed.
Oh, you mean in advance? You mean in advance of the, yeah, like getting a loan to bridge the gap. So, from what I understand from our friends within DMPED and the DSLBD, the existing grant program, something about the way, I need to learn more to give you a real answer. But that's one of the things that we're looking at, figuring out if we know that the guarantee is coming, right? If the government could guarantee it.
If you can bridge that gap.
That's what we're working on. That's right.
Huge opportunities available for a lot of small
I second that completely. That's what we're working on. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you, Ms. Henderson. My mother was recently held up at gunpoint with my daughter yesterday, and I would like to know what you're going to do in response to that, because that is appalling. It's very disgusting that a teenager around the age of 11 to 12 is able to access a gun and hold up my mother at gunpoint.
Well, first, let me just say I'm sorry about this incident. I'm not Chief Lanier. I'm not the police. The first
but you're able to do something about it.
Well,
you do have some jurisdiction.
Ma'am, who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
I'm a mother. I'm a mother.
I mean, are you my constituent? I don't know you.
What do you mean I'm your constituent?
Do you live
I
in
live in the area.
Where do you live?
I live on 19th and M.
19th and M.
Yes. And
I'm not your commissioner, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm not your commissioner. You can address.
So then I need to speak to someone who will help me.
I'm just curious as to why you didn't address your concerns to Lieutenant Mejia.
Is that who I need to speak to?
Well, if you'd like to speak to me, I'm more than happy to talk to you, but Lieutenant Mejia was with the Metropolitan.
Yeah, he gave the public safety report. I mean,
I'm
happy to champion.
I'll speak to whoever I need to speak to.
Here, man, I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
We'll talk after.
Also, I think you need to clear the air. As commissioners, we are not the police. I do get those calls, and it's hard to tell a constituent I have limited ability, but we truly don't have the same abilities as the police. And I'm not just saying that to you, but in general, it should be known that commissioners are citizens too. So we don't have that weight.
So I'm certainly happy to address any public safety concerns, because I've actually built a really excellent career on responding to public safety concerns in my community. And we're safer and we're still fighting, and certainly all hands on deck are needed. But I wanted to make sure that you connect with Lieutenant Mejia before you leave here this evening, because he is the watch commander. And as the chairperson of this commissioner, certainly I'm happy to work with you, but for you to say that I'm a little taken aback.
But then for you to speak to me and say, who are you?
I don't know you, ma'am. I know my constituents. I'm sorry.
I jump in really quickly. Let me just say to you, look, I'm a mom, right? And like you, my kid is my heart, right? And if this happened to me, I would be angry and frustrated. And the fact that you can even sit here as calmly as you are is remarkable to me. So I'm sorry. I think all of us are incredibly sorry that this is an experience that your daughter had to go through, or your mom, and certainly the fear and worry that I now feel. I literally have pain in my chest thinking about this for you. Lots has to get better, right? And part of the mayor's effort with the Safer, Stronger plan is about attacking some of these things. But here's the reality. The number of issues that are at play with some of this type of crime, they're so significant and so layered. And this is what I can say about this broadly, and then much more specifically. We're working to attack all the pieces of that. One, working to make sure we get these illegal guns off the street. Two, working to make sure that that kid has opportunity to do other things and make different choices, and that they have a family that feels supported. But 3, and I would say most importantly, that all of us feel safe walking down the street in which we live, we love, and we pay taxes. So Tommy's going to talk to you. I'm available afterwards too, as I'm sure any number of the commissioners are. I would want to learn more about sort of what the response was. I assume you called the police. I assume so. I want to learn all of those pieces. But what I want to say to you as this administration is, we are hyper focused on making sure that the streets in this city are safe. And it's not always going to be perfect. Some of these things are outside of the control of government, but the things that are, we're going to work really hard to get right.
And I hope that Commissioner Roberts, who is your commissioner, will reach out to you.
Okay.
One final comment. I want to go back to your issues raised on Holbrook Street. Let me just briefly say this. MCN Builders has a reputation for producing quality construction. Every project that they have undertaken has had results. However, with this exception, the Holbrook Street. So when we say government can't do as much as we can, I really would like to push that issue, because a builder with MCN's reputation, they just delivered a fabulous 2 Rivers, that was a public charter school in our community. Nothing but praise. Any project that they've done, with this exception, has turned out well. So we need to look very carefully, and I'm glad Mr. Goldstone is still here, at everything that has happened. The citizens have been consistent in coming to this commission seeking redress, and we want to make sure that they're responded to.
So I need to learn more, but I need to learn more, but it sounds like a lot's happened. But let me just say, I wasn't speaking specifically to this instance. I was sort of talking globally about it. This gentleman has had his hand up. I don't know if the question is for me or.
Well, it can be for both. I think the point that we're trying to stick across is that what can be done for educating young kids for not having any legal weapons, drugs? What will the administration do in order to, help the city get better later on?
So there's a lot that we're working on, and some of them don't feel directly connected, and some of them obviously do, right? So the chancellor and the deputy mayor for education are working incredibly hard to strengthen our public school system, right? So that's a piece of it, right? But it's not the only answer. I, within my cluster, am working incredibly hard to make sure that we're jump-starting economic opportunity, both for young people and for adults in this city, district residents who need job opportunities. The Safer, Stronger DC plan is focused on making sure that those who would and have a record at perpetrating violent acts don't have access or the ability to be able to do that and wreak havoc in our communities anymore. And so we're strengthening the law in that sense. But these mini grants that I talk about, the reason why they're important is because, just like the gentleman over here said, we're not going to police our way out of it, right? Police sometimes can be preventative, but much of what they do is not preventative, right? It's reactive to a crime that has taken place. The community has a role in being along with the police. I don't want to suggest that the police have a role in being proactive, but the community has a real role, and some of these community-based organizations that have been doing work in the community, some have done excellent work and need more resources. Some have gotten resources and haven't done excellent work. And so what our charge is really to deepen the engagement with those who are doing the good work, make sure that they have the resources to get at the population that you're talking about in particular. But here's the reality. That's not gonna make her foot stop shaking. It's not gonna make her feel better about what happened to her mother and daughter last night, right? You said daughter?
Daughter and my mother.
It's not gonna make it any better, right? Everything that I can stand up here and say isn't gonna make this mother or this mother feel safer right now, right? For the first time in my entire life, my twin sister and I live across the street from each other. She came across the street. We heard gunshots. She came to check on me. We heard gunshots again. And I'm 36 years old. I've never done this. We, at the same time, fell to the floor, right? No one should have to live like that, and no one should have to live like that. But there's nothing up here that I can say that's gonna make you feel better. I mean, that's just sort of an unfortunate fact. But what I can say is we are committed and working incredibly hard to address these issues and to make sure that this doesn't happen again. It shouldn't have happened the first time. And it's gonna take all of us to do it, both government and our community partners and the police and community, individuals in the community. But this is when being on this side stinks the most, if I'm just honest, right? I haven't been in government long enough to sort of think about how to say things such that they don't stink. It just stinks. Nothing I'm gonna say is gonna make it feel better today. but it's gonna get better, and we're committed to doing that.
And you know, so you said you think the perpetrator's like 11 years old?
Yeah.
And see that, and that's one of the problems in our neighborhoods, and it just in our city, with the with the poor education system we had. That quite honestly, that child was born. Like I said, born to be a criminal, 11 years old. So we have to look at this thing as the long-term measure, Deputy Mayor. How do we start changing the mindset of these families on the long term to change the next kid 25 years from now for not being a criminal? And we have to look at and short term, but that's the whole thing. And I'm just applauding Mr. McDuffie was saying and it's a health issue. It really is. It's a health issue. And so I understand what you're saying because I raised my children here. My son is 22, my daughter's 20. So they were born during the, like you said, during the murder capital, when Trinidad was the murder capital. So I've been blessed that nothing has happened to my children as they went to school in Trinidad and across town. But I truly understand what you're saying because, but I say take it block by block, get to know your neighbors, stand out on those corners, just block by block by block. You know, have a sense of security on your block. I clean my block, I still clean it. I get out, I pick up trash every morning because I didn't want my kids walking past condoms and crack bags. So, and you got to put yourself out there as a present. And that, so that's just what I did. And it just to make the block come. And that's all really can do is take a block.
And this is a policing issue, and I'll make sure that you're connected at the end of this meeting. Ms. Ramsey, then
I would say that it's more than a policing issue.
Oh, yeah.
We had the police come to our neighborhood association last month, and they said, we have been arresting juveniles, but the court's view is to immediately release them back into the public because they're youth and they can be rehabilitated. So that kid's probably back on the street already. And that's
never caught.
Yeah.
He was never caught.
So I think that's part of the mayor's plan and her focus on making sure that those who have been caught, convicted of, and are under supervision, right? I mean, this doesn't extend to youth, but part of the thinking behind that is to attack that which we're talking about just right now, to give judges more tools to be able to hold folks when we know that they have a history of violent crime. So I hear you. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
She said this does not address youth.
Excuse me,
Right.
Commissioner Dumas. Excuse me, Commissioner Dumas. Then you may speak, Mr. Ashburn.
I'm deeply saddened by the challenge that you face. I definitely commend Commissioner Lee. He said exactly what I was going to say. We as a community, we have to be more unified and continually doing exactly what he just said. Knowing your neighbors, knowing the people on your blocks, and no longer being divided. And just in this commission alone, just from some of the things I've observed, we are divided. And in that division, we're not looking out for one another. And unfortunately, many of our neighbors, and most of what's no longer, that doesn't even come to our meetings, are challenged by. And in those challenges, I think it would be advantageous for all of us to unify ourselves with those that maybe live to the left of us, to the right of us, and 3 blocks down the road from us, and come together with more unity and maybe become more of a village like it was when in my generation was growing up, where we're raising each other, not so much pointing fingers like this is a criminal, but saying, hey, when you see something, say something. But personally, in my neighborhood, when I see the young kids, I speak to them and I say something to them when I see them doing things that are not favorable to me. So being able to build relationships is something that I suggest that we all do a better job at. And we can't expect government to govern us when we have to govern ourselves a little bit better by saying something, say something. But I'm so sorry for the challenge that you experienced with your mom and your daughter, and it's just unfortunate.
So it doesn't, yes. Thank you for that. It doesn't extend to, it doesn't extend to juveniles. No, there are other things that we have been doing, but this particular piece does not extend to juveniles. No.
I'd like to ask, I think there's something that can be done. So the police officer came in, he did not give us a safety report. he wound up, he kind of talked in general, he didn't have anything for, and as I heard the statistic, that the murder rate is up in our neighborhood more than they mentioned like 2 neighborhoods, so it's unacceptable that he doesn't have a report for us during this time. So to me, that's something that the commission can do.
Oh, absolutely. This is the first time that we've ever had a public safety report where we had no stats. So I'll be addressing that to Commander Fitzgerald. Okay. You have an announcement?
I do. I have an announcement. It's actually related because I'm a developer. So it's fine. I mean, actually, I enjoy being here. I came before you all a couple months ago, and I have met with Commissioner Roberts and Commissioner Lewis and kind of expressed our project. I'm part of a development group that's doing a hotel at 411 New York Avenue. We did file our PUD a couple weeks ago. You may have already received in the mail. Have you received a copy of the actual PUD? But we were requesting that we're going to be if we could get on the agenda for next month, and I'll reach out to Ms. Lewis and see.
Is that your humble request?
I'm sorry?
Is that your humble request?
That is my humble request. That is what I've been waiting here. But I am now part of your community. I am now part of your community. What's interesting and what relates is our concept is an arts hotel. So what we're giving to the community is there's subsidized space within the hotel for local artists, and it's right next to the hotel that's being built right now, that you see going up on New York Avenue at the top of Union Market, which will be a Hilton. No, it's not. It's going to be a Homewood Suites. It's like 250 rooms, and ours is planned for about 150. But we're very, very excited about it. I did have an opportunity, like I said, to communicate it to the commissioners. And I think they were equally excited. And I think it's very unique, and it will play very well into the what's happening in Union Market, which is a very interesting, eclectic mix.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
What's your phone? Well, let's talk afterwards, so I can make sure that. I have one announcement first. And Ms. Taylor, there's a neighborhood watch training in this room on the 10th at 6 p.m. It'll be conducted by my good friend Samantha Nolan from Ward 3. She does some citywide neighborhood watch training. So anyone that's interested in coming, certainly feel free to come. I'll be here. I'm asking those persons that I represent to work with me to re-energize our Orange Hat Patrol. And I think this is an opportunity for all hands on deck, and I would encourage everyone to similarly do that. Ms. Taylor and Commissioner Lee.
Let me ask you a question. Is it a question for me?
No.
Okay. I'm not taking over your meeting. I just want to make sure that all the questions from me are taken so I can roll.
We need you to come back so we can have.
I'd be honored to come back anytime you invite me. Thank you, Chair.
Deputy Mayor.
I think so.
Just a question for you, because you Commissioner.
I'm going to be so
Blainsburg Road, you said the Blainsburg Road development, and that's what I have a concern because, just like I said, we should be a part of this, and it's been, from the one, it's been thrust on us like we have to have high-rise buildings to make it more profitable for people want to develop, and so I'm really against it. I'm meeting with the developer this week who wants to come to, saying they're providing low-income housing, which it doesn't have to be low income, doesn't have to be 80 stories.
Yeah. I need to learn more about what's on the table, what people are coming to you with. I didn't mean specific development, broadly, but let's just maybe a call or FaceTime, or even, I'm delighted to have you come over to my office. We can just have a long conversation about it. And you can tell me what you think.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, y'all are so good. Thank you.
I'll be real quick.
Yes,
okay, thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Belinda Taylor. I live on Capitol Ave, which is in Commissioner Lewis's district. 1905 Capitol Ave, right across from C's. 501, okay. All right, so the reason I'm here is just really quick. On Thursday this week, we are going onto the grounds of the Alexander Crummell School. If you guys are familiar with it, it's a school that's been abandoned since the 1970s, and we have been working to get the mayor's office to give us back the school and have it be reopened for community use. So what we're doing, the school was named after Reverend Alexander Crummell, who is a giant in Black history, but you don't really hear about him. So we're having an event on his saint day, which is his the day he died in the Episcopalian calendar. And we're going onto the grounds. It's a very simple ceremony to honor the legacy and the life of this man for whom the school was named. And it's going to be at the school. The school is at 1900 Gallaudet Street in Northeast. And if you go up Central Ave, you guys are familiar with Ivy City? If you go up Central Ave, you'll see the old school building. We're actually going onto the grounds. You can park on the grounds, so there's no, you don't have to leave your car outside. You can come on in and park. It starts at 6 o'clock. It goes until about 8. We're gonna have speakers. We're gonna have the Reverend from the Episcopalian Church that Crummell founded, which is St. Luke's Church here in DC. So he will be there. They're gonna bless the school. There will be a blessing. We're going to have a performance, a reading of some of his works. And just to let you know how really big this guy was, there's an entire chapter in Du Bois' book devoted to Alexander Crummell. So that's happening on this Thursday, and we are hoping, and if everybody here, whether you believe in God or not, can just say a prayer that we don't have rain, because this is going to be an outside event. If you don't believe in God, just ask whatever, for no rain. So I want to know if you guys will agree to show up. You will agree to send out information about this. I have a couple flyers left. I know we have tried to reach out on the listservs, but if you haven't heard about it, this Thursday, there's more information on Empower DC's website, and you can also go to the Friends of Crummell School, of which we formed a group for the specific purpose of advocacy to get the school put up for community use, and that's the Friends of Crummell School. We have a website. You can go to it and get more information about this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this event is being sponsored, co-sponsored by our wonderful commissioner.
What's the time and address again?
It's 1900 Gallaudet Street Northeast from 6 to 8:30. And Friends of Crummell School is, I think it's friendsofcrummell.org.
Can I take a picture?
And Empower DC.
Facebook also.
And it's also on. And I have a few flyers. Does anybody want one?
I have extra flyers. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been fabulous. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yes.
Most second. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a fabulous audience.